Good evening and welcome. You're watching Bizz Talk on your channel of choice, and my name is Sinazo January. Now, this is a show where I bring you nothing but the best of the business sector in and around the Eastern Cape. And as usual, this episode is absolutely no different. And if you are joining me right now, I'm joined by an entrepreneur from the Nelson Mandela University, and she's a young woman. So it's going to be a very interesting interview right now, and she goes by the name of Nicole. She's going to introduce herself and let you know what is her business. Nicole, thank you for joining me today.
Okay, so I'm Nicole and I'm a third-year management student at Nelson Mandela University. I'm the owner of Naturally Nirvana, which is an eco-friendly hair care brand, and I also ventured into a makeup brand which is called Naturally Nirvana Beauty as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, when did you start all these businesses?
So Naturally Nirvana, which is the hair care brand, was started in April 2021, but officially, like legally, it was April 2022, and then Naturally Nirvana Beauty I launched this year.
And tell me about the challenges that you faced, opening your own business, and, because I think you chose a very competitive industry, the beauty industry. So tell me about the challenges that you faced as a young entrepreneur.
So personally for me, the challenges that I faced is only like getting into networking spaces. Like with funds for me, I'm not going to say it was easy, but I worked really hard, and the skill set I have, I use that to my advantage. And also like what sets me apart from other businesses is the fact that I make my own products from scratch, and they are plant-based, and then the main ingredients are sourced from my own garden, which is in the backyard. So I think that put me in a great position to be able to compete with other people within the same market that I am going into or that I am in. And then, that was basically the only challenge that I faced. And also getting into like salons, like getting my product into salons. Like I approached a lot of salons, but then that was like via email or the phone, and then a lot of people told me no. But then I came up with a strategy to go like to the salons and to have my presentation ready and to maybe market myself face to face and not over the phone as well.
So you spoke about competition. What was your first thought about actually starting your brands? Because I can imagine the worry of, competition, because it is such a big industry. So how did you overcome all those fears?
So for me personally, I don't compete with other people, so the last thing that was on my mind was competition. So I went into my business, like I was scared obviously, but I didn't go into it like to compete with anyone. So, but then I didn't think of competition or competing, but I obviously did my competition analysis and my market analysis, but I didn't go into it like negatively. I went into it positively, and I think I had persistence and perseverance, and I knew that as a young entrepreneur I'm going to make it. Even if it takes me 5 years or 10 years, the key is to not giving up as an entrepreneur and as a young woman as well.
Now, you spoke about off camera, you spoke about how you started, business when you were still so young. Do you think that's contributed to, the attributes that you have now in your business?
Yes, I think being raised by like a strong female, my mother always had, like, she was business minded. Like, she doesn't have education or anything, but she was always business minded, and she instilled that in me. And my father as well, he also had like what we call side hustles. So I grew up in an environment where it doesn't matter where you come from, it matters where you're going, and then you have to hustle to get what you want. Like, I didn't get everything I wanted as a child because I didn't grow up in like a rich household, but like I had enough. So, and then I created basically my own brand also, but with the help of my family and the people that support me. So I think the environment you grow up in is very important, to have people that are positive around you. So like my advice for young people is surround yourself with positive people. Like if you see someone they are jealous, or this person is not for you, they're not contributing like positively, then you need to share that person off, not like with bad vibes or anything, but you need to surround yourself with positive people at all times.
Now let's speak about networking and also access to information in your business. Do you think that pool is actually opening? You know, especially because I mean you've been into business like for a very long time. So do you think that the pool now is getting wider, and you know young people are getting more aware and conscious of entrepreneurship?
I actually do think a lot of people want to venture into entrepreneurship. Like there's so many support systems at the university. There's the seed program where I'm a mentor, where I mentor young entrepreneurs like myself, because I also had a mentor, and then what they taught me, I want to impart on the next person, because I'm a firm believer of giving back and not keeping information to myself. And then there's also the Mandela Youth Entrepreneurship Lab. They also have like workshops or like anything you need as an entrepreneur. Then there's workshops, there's skills development programs, there's access to funding, like anything you as an entrepreneur need. And I think the university is very supportive of young entrepreneurs, because like within the economy we are in, you need to have multiple streams of income. And I think they understand that education is not the only thing that you can use. You know, you can also use like your business, the business mind that you have in order for you to succeed, because a lot of unemployed graduates are out there. So I think it's important for you as a student to start your own business, where you can have options if you're graduating university or colleges or any educational institution.
That is so true. But let's talk about the plans that you have for your business. Both businesses, actually, both brands. Just to expand them, let's speak about those plans.
I call myself like dynamite in a small package, because I have big dreams and I don't come from much. I'm from the northern areas. So I'm a firm believer, like I said, of giving back. So the profits that I make within my business, I make care packs for young girls in my community of not only Shoreville, where I'm from, but like the northern areas or in the townships as well. Then we donate the pads and like the care packs, like, you know, when you that time of the month, you want some sweets or anything. So we put all those things in the pack. And then the plans I have for my future, like I would like to branch out internationally. So I would love my brand to not be only South African, but like I look up to people like Rihanna and like Selena Gomez. And there's a lot of South African people that I also look up to that are in the beauty industry. So I would like to be able to compete with those brands as well. So my vision and my plans are, it's probably to a lot of people it seems out of reach, but to me, I don't think it's out of reach. Yeah, so basically that's all my plans.
So we should watch out for that.
Definitely.
Nicole, thank you so much. But we're going to be back with Nicole with a little bit more, and we're going to speak about obviously the future plans and also the role that the Nelson Mandela University has played in grooming her as well as a young woman in business. So stay tuned. And if you are joining me right now, I'm joined by Ukatekani, and she's going to tell me who she is and what exactly she does. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, before we do get started, introduce yourself and let us know what is your business.
Okay, I am Katekani Mabunda. I am a third-year student studying diploma in economics here at Nelson Mandela University, and I am the co-owner of Secular Care and Community Networks Hydroponics.
Oh, that sounds fancy. Now tell me about your businesses. What exactly is it that you do?
Okay, I'll start by Secular Care. So Secular Care started off by my partners and I looking around our community and seeing like our healthcare system, and we were trying to figure out how can we assist in like the medical in the healthcare system, what difference can we make? And we realized that there are so many ways in which we can make alternative medication, like using your herbs, things from your own kitchen, things from your own garden to make alternative medication, right? For people who cannot afford medication. And then through our society enactors and through what we call the MTN Digital Innovation Challenge, we came up with a platform, which is an app where people can go and search for any home remedy for basically any illness that they are having. So it will give you steps on how to make the home remedy And if you need a bit more information, you can even get a video which shows you how to do the home remedy, and hopefully you get the same result as you would have with the medication that you buy at the pharmacy. And community network hydroponics is basically farming using water and rich soluble nutrients, no soil. Wow. That's interesting, right? We were looking around and saying, okay, vegetables are expensive, fruits are expensive, people cannot afford. And why is this? I mean, farmers are having a lot of problems because of drought and because of their soil not being rich enough. And through research, finding out that, hey, there is actually hydroponics farming. And as much as when we tell people it's farming with water, they're like, hey, you're not really saving water, but you actually are, because you're using a lot less, around about 93-95% less water as you would have when you were traditionally farming on your soil, right? And that is what we're working on now, trying to just grow fruits and vegetables on our small hydroponic system so that we can cater for the student community and homeless shelters, because that's where the problem began.
Now, you have created these amazing brands, but tell me about, you know, the health system, because obviously not everyone can afford medication, which is, I can imagine that's one of the things that came to mind. But do you think that a lot of people now are just turning to, you know, traditional home remedies instead, because they can't afford basic, you know, medical aid, because the medical aid schemes out there are just ridiculous now. So people now are obviously turning into the old traditional home remedies. So what does that mean for your business?
That means money. But honestly, what we focus on, it's social entrepreneurship. The biggest benefit goes to the community. So watching everybody actually now having that mind shift to say there is alternative medication without having apologies to anyone if they get offended, without thinking it's muti. You know, now they can actually see that, hey, there is power in your ginger, there is power in your lemon, and that for us as Secular Care is very big, because it shows that we are doing something right.
That's true.
We are doing something right, and we keep on moving.
Especially I think people realize that after COVID as well, with the home remedies, the gingers, your
couldn't
oranges.
risk going to hospital or to clinic because but then what I loved, I think, is that doctors were also now encouraging it to say, do this, to show that there is power in our herbs, there is power in the fruits and vegetables that are in our garden that we do buy. And that is the biggest message that we're trying to send. And now people are starting to get back into it. And it's like, hey, these things have been sitting in our grandparents' minds.
That's true.
Why not take it and say, hey, I'm going to give it to the people now.
Now, you're a young black female and you're tapping into agriculture as well. Tell me about the challenges in this sector, and also that you've faced, you know, starting your own brand.
Okay, one thing I have realized, or my team and I have realized, it's not easy, especially if you're young, especially if I'm 20 years of age. If I go to a person and say, I'm selling this, I'm 20 years, or I'm giving you the idea, people are like, no, you understand. Yes, that is one of the biggest challenges, but at the end of the day, shouldn't stop you from tapping into the sector. The other thing is the biggest other challenges, trying to move people from their way of thinking and showing them that this product indeed does work. Like trying to show, it's one of those, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You know, people don't want to learn new ways. People don't want to be innovative. People don't want to see that you can actually make their business, their lives a little bit better by just doing this little change. So that is that is the challenge, people accepting advice from a young one. Yeah.
Now, times have really changed. You know, innovation has really played a role, I think, in all sectors, actually. So times are really shifting and changing. But do you think that people are actually starting to trust, you know, all these innovative ideas and businesses that young people are actually coming up with? And do you think that young people should be more involved, not only in the private sector, but also in, you know, government entities as well, with all these amazing ideas to develop, you know, South Africa as a country?
Yes, I think it begins at the definition of innovation. One of my colleagues likes to say we all have definitions for something, and he would say that innovation is not only about starting new things, it's also about changing like something about that old little method. That's also true. Innovation, and young people should actually realize that you can take an old product and do something to it and make it new, and it helps improve people's lives. That is something that it's spaces that we should be tapping into as young people, because we have to sit and realize that as much as we're here getting our education and all that, how many people are sitting at home with those degrees? Why don't we do something and create the jobs? Why don't we look at our systems and be the ones to say, hey, if maybe I can do this on the side, this will make life for me and others a little bit better. So definitely the youth should start looking at ways in which they could help bring up our economy, and people are really starting to be open to innovation. They are starting to accept that these are the times that we live in, but at the end of the day, I believe that we shouldn't forget where we're coming from. We shouldn't forget why we are here. And if we can remember that at all times, even through growth, we'll still have that humanity in us to say, I'm still doing it for the people, and we are still growing together, and we are pushing together, and we will all succeed together.
I love that. Wise words, very wise words. But we're going to take a quick ad break, and we still have more for you though, so please don't go anywhere. So let's take a quick ad break. Again, we are back with Nicole. She's a young entrepreneur and she goes to the Nelson Mandela University. Now, you slightly mentioned the contribution that the university has played or made in, you know, your business. Let's speak about that, the support that the university is giving to young entrepreneurs like yourself, especially female entrepreneurs. What role has the university played?
In my opinion, I think the university has played a huge role, because there's a lot of workshops surrounded by like female empowerment. Like there's a lot of programs that the university is putting out there, so they're creating more awareness. There's like the SEED program where it's for mentorship, for entrepreneurship, which is one other side. There's also like employability workshops for people who are not were scared to go into entrepreneurship. So there's employability workshop, like how to do your CV, how to put your brand out there, how to get into job markets. So it's not only for entrepreneurs, but also for people that want to work as well. And then there's the Madiba Youth Entrepreneurship Lab, which organizes a lot of workshops, like how to make your own business plan, how to network. They have these different workshops where they have facilitators come in. And I mean, the university they're basically investing in the future of the youth also, because they know that there's a lot of unemployed graduates out there. So I think they are going in different directions as to how they can help us as students as well.
Now let's speak about the importance of mentorship. What role has that played for you in your brand? And because you're also mentoring, but you also have a mentor. So explain that dynamic.
So I think basically having a mentor is having someone in your corner, someone that can motivate you and tell you, no, you can do it. Even when you think you can't do it, you always need to have someone to basically tell you, no, man, you can do this, like you got this. Like sometimes that negative voice comes and then you have your mentor that can tell you, no, you got this, you can do this. So it's very important, like for each and every person to have a mentor, but to also have mentees as well that you can help. And my mentor, which is Tam, she helped me a lot with the Nelson Mandela Bay workshop that they had, and then I was a part of that. And then, so I'm a mentee of the SEED program, and I do my best to help my mentees with giving them information that I didn't have, because I didn't have people tell me, oh, here's a competition you can enter, or here's like a workshop for a business plan. I had to do my own research and find out things for myself, or even learn from my mistakes as an entrepreneur. So I just think it's very important to help people out there the way you didn't get any help, you know?
Now let's speak about the contribution the university has made into, grooming you as well as a young female entrepreneur.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about our societies, right? We have 4 amazing entrepreneurship societies, which is Enactors, the Ecosystem, Sweep, and Start Small Foundation that are under the entrepreneurship lab here at Nelson Mandela University, and they are doing amazing stuff. I mean, each even though we are all for entrepreneurship societies, we all do different things. I am part of Enactors, and through Enactors, I have learned how to work with people. I have learned so much about entrepreneurship. I have learned so much about design thinking. I have learned about how to take my business from point A to point B, even like doing research, proper research on how to start your own business. And then the other societies like Start Small Foundation, it helps people to show them that they can start small. You don't have to have large amounts of money or anything. You start small. Then we have the ecosystem, which develops people's businesses and helps them in your marketing, this and that. Like, it helps people develop their businesses. And we have Sweep, which is it's helping female student entrepreneurs advance in their business skills and so forth. So we have that amazing structure, and we have departments above us, but I'll stick to those that I know.
Now, you touched on the fact that you're a young female in business. Now, the university has picked up obviously on the importance of entrepreneurship and also grooming young females in business. But what do you think that means for you and the youth in this day and age?
It's a stepping stone.
Yes.
A big stepping stone. It's so hard for the older generation to learn from us or to accept what we bring to the table. And now seeing that, all of that shift to say, okay, no, we are giving you a platform, especially as a young black girl as well. It's like, we're giving you a platform. Come tell us what we can do for you. That is, I think it's a stepping stone. And if they continue creating such platforms for us and continue just paving the way for us, it will be a great thing for those that are to come, because it doesn't only end with us. There are still young people in high school that are coming into the university space with a lot of ideas and a lot of crazy things. I mean, it's a crazy world. So they are coming with their own stuff. And if the university can just keep on supporting and paving the way and giving us the platforms, it's a very good stepping stone for the youth.
Yeah, and also if other institutions could also do the same as well for other young entrepreneurs coming up, it would be amazing.
Yes, true.
But what would you advise a young female such as yourself in business, especially for the fact that we come from Women's Month last month? So what would you advise a young woman in this day and age who's into entrepreneurship?
Don't give up, baby girl. That is the best thing that I can say. we're still in the men's world. We are fighting for equity, but we're still in a men's world. We are getting there, but don't give up. You know, it's so tough because you'll be that tiny one among giants.
Yes.
But your voice matters. Your voice matters. Never give up, and you will get there. Fail as much as possible in the beginning so that when troubles come your way in the future, you already know how to handle it. So yeah, that's my advice to those coming after me.
Thank you so much. Can't wait to see what you do in the future, because honestly, what you're doing is amazing. So do keep it up. I can imagine the change that you're bringing into the communities as well. So keep that up. And there you have it for tonight's episode of Bizz Talk, talking to young female entrepreneurs from the Nelson Mandela University, doing great and amazing things at such a young age. So please do join me though next week, same place, same time, right here on Bizz Talk on channel 260 with myself, Sinazo January. But for now, it is good night.